Okay, so we're talking about compound volumes, and just like before when we had some sort of square and we put a triangle on top of it, and we said that's compound because the area would be the square or the triangle plus the triangle. Compound, composite, compuesto. These are words that we use to give this idea. So the idea would be with these figures here, you see a cone on top of a cylinder. Who knows? Maybe that's a candle. Over here, you see half of a sphere inside of a cylinder. And this might be maybe a dog bowl or something like that. And you'd be asked to find the volume on the inside of these compound figures. So that's where subtraction and addition comes in necessary to do this math. So I'm going to show you a couple of other compound figures that you might see in your homeworks. Here we go. An ice cream cone. How does that look? Okay. What else could we do? Here, when I put it together, maybe you might see an hourglass. And in each case, we'd be interested in finding the volume of the figure on the inside. So in this case, you'd subtract, and in this case, you'd add. So I'm going to let you do the work yourself, and then tomorrow, in the next lesson, I'll do all the problems on the board. So it's best to try it on your own. I think you'd learn a little better. And if you're having problems, you let me know. I can assign more problems. So my job now is to get some data to these two figures here, do them, and then I'll put some problems on the board. I'll take a picture of it and a word problem as well, and we'll be able to work with these compound figures. Okay? So in this case, here's the data. In this figure, we're letting the height of the cone be 6 units. The radius of the cone that it shares with the cylinder would be 4, the radius. And finally, the height of the cylinder would be 9 units. So my job is to find the volume of this compound shape. So it's very easy to do, makes a lot of sense to do it. I take them apart in my head. Now I use the data that I was given, and the cone is 1/3 pi r squared h plus 1/3 pi r, pi r squared h, because it's a cylinder, r squared h. And then we come up with our answer there, which I'll calculate right now. So I plug in the data. 1/3 pi r squared here is 4 squared. H for the cone is 6 plus pi. And then again, they share the same radius. That's the whole idea of compound shapes. Okay, they share the radius. So that would be 4 squared, and there's the height there. And so when I do a little bit of math, 3 goes into 6 2 times. 16 times 2 is 32 pi, plus 16 times 9, because 4 squared is 16, times 9 is 144 squared. And when I add these guys together, I come up with 176 pi as an answer, cubic units. So there's the answer in terms of pi. We did the answer in terms of pi, and this is precisely what you'll be asked to do on these problems, okay? You'll be asked to give me the answer, again, as I mentioned before, in terms of pi. And you can see how I did this again. It was the cone shape plus the cylinder shape, okay? And I put them together. The numbers were nice. We put everything together. Notice pi plus pi is 2 pi. So pi is just like x, like terms, and the answer turned out to be 176 cubic units. The scientist or the person who needs the numbers could multiply 176 by 3.14, excuse me, or use the pi button and get the answer in cubic units, maybe to 100th or a 10th. I quickly erase this, and I work on the next one. And in this case, the operation is clearly subtraction. It's the cylinder minus the half sphere. And since you were given the data before, okay, and we put data here, let D for diameter be 6, and let the height be 4, again, we have enough data. The diameter is 6, so that means the cylinder and the bowl, so to speak, share the same radius. But remember, you have to divide 6 by 2 to get R. So now we do the problem. We begin to put in the data here, and the radius is pi 3 squared times 4 minus, you have to know this, half of 4 over 3 is 2 over 3, and then this becomes your pi, and remember there's no height in a sphere or half a sphere, so that would be pi cubed. So there we put in the numbers where they belong. We're basically doing 6th grade math now. We continue. This is 36 pi. Reason, 9 times 4 is 36. One of the pi's is going to cancel by the product rule. So 9 times 2 is 18 minus 18 pi. So the answer here would be 18 pi cubic units. And generally speaking, this is good enough for us. Okay. All right? So I'm going to stop here because it takes forever to upload 7 or 8 minutes. So we want to make sure we can do that. But this is an explanation of how to do the work I'm going to put on the board for you in a couple of minutes and send it to you as a worksheet that you can work on, and then I can correct it tomorrow or the next day whenever we do this, okay? So there's the math. I did 2 problems over here. These are your model problems. I'll put the homework up on the board now, and then the next lesson will be all about ratios. Okay, enough is enough.